So if y'all want to go ahead and turn to Mark, Gospel of Mark, we'll get you going here in a second. Matt's not here today, just in case you're wondering. And Neil is preaching this morning, I believe. All right. All right, so I'll let you know where we're going to be here in a minute. But I just wanted to kind of get a little background as we go. Mark starts off his gospel, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And unlike some of the other gospels, he just kind of jumps right into it with talking about John the Baptist preaching, Jesus getting baptized, going straight into the wilderness to be tempted by Satan. John's arrested. All this happens in chapter 1. And then Jesus starts preaching and teaching and healing people. And so he basically just kind of dives right into the ministry of Jesus as opposed to the others where they start off with the birth and all that. So much so that by the end of chapter 1, we see that Jesus is already kind of having to isolate himself in the wilderness. And Josh is going to read chapter 1, verse 45 for us. Good job, thank you. So as you see, just from verse 45, he kind of started, instead of going to the cities, he was being inundated with crowds and stuff like that. Everybody wants to come to him to be healed. So he kind of started moving out towards the wilderness area and letting the people come to him. He would also go down by the seashore, and then he told his disciples have some boats ready. So he would just step into the boat just to create a little distance from the crowd while he was teaching them. And you can kind of see that as you walk through the next few chapters. We're going to be picking up in chapter 4 here in a minute. So we'll be in chapter 4, and we'll start in verse 35 here in a second. So again, at the beginning of chapter 4, Jesus is teaching by the sea. There's a large crowd. He gets into a boat. He sits down and he starts teaching them. And he goes through some parables that y'all are probably familiar with, and takes the time to explain it to his disciples. And then it says in verse 35 of chapter 4, it says, "On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, 'Let us go over to the other side.'